they establish three levels of protection, and they use metaphors. So the three levels are the cave, the valley, and the cemetery.
Because you had this program, this idea that you thought of this person, and that old idea may have zero to do with this person today.
Surrounded by beasts and so on. So this is the third level. Yeah.
That's crazy, bro. All right, good people. What's up, heroes? We back up at it, back up in the house again. And so welcome to another episode of Life in the Keys of DNA. It's your boy D, and it's my cohort, partner in crime.
Here's your boy A.
So welcome. Alrighty then, let's get to it.
Rolling, mate.
Get her done.
The rules of engagement. Yeah. Move production. You better be a part of it. You gon' talk about it. Check it.
So good day, people. We are here in another episode of the Life in the Keys of DNA. And we are talking about something very special today.
Definitely today. Today is the day.
Today's the day.
To talk about this thing.
What is our today's disclaimer? Because I've got a very, very good one here.
Well, then if you already have one, then I think
No, you go first.
the disclaimer is always simple. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not professionals in the sense of we've studied these things at school, but we are professionals in that we've applied it to our lives. So if you're a professional and you're looking for all of the statistics and all of these things on it, then we might not be the cats for you. But if you want to hear two men that are giving you their life experience, you came to the right place.
Hands down. But I have another disclaimer here. And I will say it after saying our today's topic. Today's topic is peace protection. Now, I'm going to tell you what my good disclaimer is like, and it is that we are parents, we are daddies, right?
Yes.
Why have you sighed?
Some days you gotta sigh. Other days you don't need to, but some days a sigh is necessary.
Yeah, it's a special moment today, and the perfect topic. So the disclaimer is, we have our monkeys, our children all around. So if you see a ghost in the background, it's not a ghost. It's one of our children. Mm-hmm. If you hear something weird in the background, it's one of our children. If you hear the police or something like that, it's all about our children, right?
Definitely. Somebody's going to jail. Somebody's going to jail.
Okay.
So let's get to it. So today is all about, as I like to say, protecting your peace. So we'll start with you. What does that mean to you when you hear protect your peace? What is the first thing that comes to mind?
It is protect yourself.
Okay.
Protect yourself, because if you do not have peace, you cannot connect yourself with your inner self. I mean, you cannot listen to yourself. It is much deeper than this, but you have to have peace of mind. You should be peaceful. And apart from that, from a very logical point of view, it's also about health. And we'll go deeper in this later, okay? Mm-hmm. How about you? What does it mean? Peace protection.
For me, peace protection is keeping keeping yourself out of situations that you don't necessarily have to be in. What do I mean by that? There are a lot of times that you can allow people to take control over you based on the situation, based on how they talk to you, based on the emotions that are involved with other people. And then you find yourself spiraling out of control over something that you weren't even supposed to be a part of. And so I think peace protection is keeping yourself out of situations that don't serve you. And I guess that's probably the simplest way that I could put that. Not putting yourself in a situation or keeping yourself out of situations that don't serve you. And that's the I think that's the realest definition I can think of.
I like it. I like it. Um, I can tell something that I learned during a course. Okay, and it was a course designed by Buddhists.
Okay.
They designed a course, and during this course I learned something about peace protection.
Okay.
And Buddhists, they establish 3 levels of protection, and they use metaphors. So the 3 levels are the cave, the valley, and the cemetery.
Okay.
Okay? And it is not like a video game. I mean, when you beat the first level, you go to the second one. It is not like that, okay? Why? Because he explained that, for example, he could be at the first level, I mean, at the cave level with a person, and then at the same time, he could be at the cemetery level with a situation or with another person. Does it make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. That makes sense to me.
I'll explain it further. So, for example, when you need a retreat, okay, so you have to go to your cave. You have to get your cave ready, and you can create a cave in your home, okay, in your house. I mean, it could be one room or your own bedroom or whatever. Okay, so it's a place. It could be a physical place, or it could be one place in your mind.
Okay.
And then you go to that place when you need to protect yourself from a person or a situation. Because in order for you to learn how to cope with that, you first have to back up, okay, take some distance, and then work on that. So you go to the cave.
Okay, that makes sense. I get that.
Once you're ready to deal with that situation, with that person, you get out of the cave and you go to the valley. And the valley stands for a little village in the valley, and there you cannot control the situation. Why? Because you come across some people and you cannot control those people.
Okay.
You couldn't know those people's reactions, words, and so on and so forth. So that is the metaphor.
I like it.
You had everything under control in your cave, then you get out of there. Once you're ready, you go to the valley to cope with the situations and to accept whatever comes to you.
Okay.
According to that person or a certain situation you're working on, okay? When you beat this level, you go to the cemetery. And he explained to us that the cemetery is not like the cemetery we know nowadays. It refers to the cemetery Hindus know back in the day.
Okay.
They knew those cemeteries in which they weren't cemeteries at all, okay? So when poor people, they pass away and they didn't have enough money to be buried or to be cremated. So some people voluntarily took them to the forest and they left them there, the corpses, okay? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but hold on. Let me give you my American reaction. Damn. Okay. Fair play. Fair play. That's
We're
random as
talking
hell,
about
but
we are
that's
talking
crazy,
about
huh?
India. Yes.
That's crazy. Just take the body and hey, you
Yeah.
let Jesus take the wheel. You
They
got it.
used
Okay.
to they used to get rid of them because those people didn't have enough money, so they were left in the forest,
That's insane.
surrounded by everything. Okay? So, uh, and this is going to, you're going to take this as crazy as hell. Why? Because yogis back in the days used to go to those cemeteries, sit down on the corpses, and start to meditate, surrounded by beasts and so on. So, this is the third level. Yeah,
That's crazy, bro.
it is crazy.
No, that's not just crazy. That's a level of insanity that I didn't expect to hear today. But okay.
So, those are the three levels referring to peace protection. So, you first go to the cave, then you get out of the cave and go to the valley. And once you become a superhero, so to speak, you go to that cemetery. Okay. And if you went to the valley and you found yourself not ready to cope with that situation or that person, you should go back to the cave again.
Okay, so you can regress. Regression is probably a part of the process.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
What do you think about this metaphors?
I like them. The cemetery one is is bonkers because and the fact that a monk or a priest would go and sit on dead bodies to get closer to understanding life is crazy to me. But
I've never done it yet.
the I kind of get it from a metaphorical standpoint. I get the message, so I understand it. I understand it, but it's crazy. If you take it for what it is, it's wild. But from a metaphorical standpoint, I totally get it.
Guess what? You will never forget it.
That is a very, very true fact. There was no forgetting that.
That's the purpose of it. I mean, using a strong metaphor that you won't forget it. Ever.
Yes. Yes. And yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, that's crazy to me. But I get the metaphor. I get the metaphor. So yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Have you ever come across a person or a situation in which, by means of applying these metaphors, you should go to the cave, or you should have gone to the cave first?
Yeah, yeah. And I think to be fair, in most cases, being a parent, there's a lot of most of the time I should just retreat to the cave because there's a lot of situations that arise, and I don't do what I consider my cave. See, because I have a bit of a thing. The cave is mind your own business. So for me, that's what that means to me, to mind your own business, because there's a lot of time we as parents we want to get involved into what our kids are doing, and to be real, we need to mind our business. We have to let our kids be who they're going to be, and of course, as long as there's no danger involved, then if there's danger involved, then we should get involved. But if there's no danger involved, then we should let it play out because it has to play out how it plays out because they're going through what they're going through to get to their lesson and to get to their understanding. And I think what we do as parents normally is we get involved before they can get to the lesson that they need to learn. And so that's why for me, my cave, I consider it the MYOB, mind your own business. And so I totally agree with that. And I think that's, yeah, I think that's, for me, that's the learning point. And that's one thing you can't have unless you have kids because there's nobody going to put you in a situation where you see it and you just go, yeah, I want to get involved. Probably shouldn't. I should just mind my own business. and just allow it to play out. So yeah, that's what I say. And how about yourself?
Um, that's a good point. And I mean, we are diverting the attention of being in the cave towards parenthood, but because to me it's a bit different. However, the sensation should be almost the same.
Okay.
Okay, but I can tell the difference. Okay, between a situation or a person that should be treated by you. I mean, in your cave and parenthood. Uh, for those of you heroes who are not parents, I cannot or we cannot tell what it is like. No, because until the very moment I became a father, I didn't know what unconditional love was like. I can say it for sure in the clearest way I can. Unconditional love is about parenthood. Okay.
Yes.
So, um, I always take my children as my masters. They are my masters, they are my teachers, and my mentors.
Yeah.
Why? Because of them, I decided to improve. And I decided to break some habits, some way of thinking, some programs we have here that otherwise I would have never done. I would have never gone for that. Why? Not because I didn't want to, but because I would have never had the necessity of going beyond that, going over that. Okay,
Yes.
so that was very important to me, and there's no turning back. I mean,
It's all or nothing. It's all in. You in Vegas, baby. It's all in. It's all in until
yeah, yeah.
until the end. You're all in. Yeah.
But I'm really glad um, to be a father because that makes me improve every day. That makes me look for the key, the solution, whatever it is needed to improve and to be the best father I can be for my children. And according to what you said, it doesn't mean that you have to uh, take the pain away from them.
Yes. Yeah. They have to experience life, and if you, well, in my experience, I have learned that the greatest gift you can give a child is the gift of being self confident and making decisions so that they don't need you. They just want you around. And yeah, and the funny thing is, I just told my son that today. I said, I want to be able to give you the confidence, the belief in the self belief, so that whatever it is you choose to do, you're very confident in that, and you'll live with whatever comes with that. You'll deal with whatever comes your way, and that you never need me. You just want me to be a part of your life. And I think that's the greatest gift. And so, like you said, you can't shelter them because they need to hit rock bottom. They need to have obstacles because that's the only way you improve. And that's the only way they can improve. And I mean, I see it a lot of the times. Parents are shielding them. And then when it comes time for the action to get real, they're they're ill prepared to deal with it. And so yeah, I totally agree with what you said. And I think if I were to go a little deeper into it, I think what my children have done in terms of making me a better person is they've made me have to look at the ideas that my parents have plus the ideas that society has plus the ideas that I have and choose which one is better for them. And that's a tough thing. That's a tough gig. And it's a 24-hour job because you're constantly evaluating yourself for that. So when you say masters and they're here to teach you, I agree with that totally because that's the way you learn. Because imagine it's it's different when you have a girlfriend or a wife because you go in and then you don't automatically start loving this person. But with a kid, it's automatic. Normally, it's automatic. You automatically like, dear, you my little person, and I'm willing to give my life for you right now. With other relationships, I think with most relationships that don't have that dynamic, you won't do that. But with your kid, you like on that day, it's like I'm ready to walk through hell for you, whatever that means. And so through that process, you have to learn a lot about yourself because it's very I can't outside of my kids, I can't think of anyone I've given that to that didn't need time to earn that. Everything else has been earned for that. Everyone else has to earn that, but your kids they get that. And so you have to go through the process of figuring out how you can be a better asset to them. And that's what the true gift of kids in my opinion has been. Making me look at myself and go, okay, is it old programming or will it be useful? And that's the constant struggle. So yeah, I couldn't have said it better. Couldn't have said it better. And yeah, totally agree with you. Totally agree with you on that issue.
Trying to link both topics, I mean parenthood and peace protection. There's one saying I usually say to my children almost every day, because almost every day they come across somebody who pushes them, who puts them in a challenge, who challenges them. And the saying goes like, if somebody gives to you something and you do not accept it, whose gift is it?
Facts. That's facts.
So
you should put that on a T-shirt and sell that because people need the reminder. Just walk around with that. I might do it.
I'm not American.
Oh, but don't. But I am.
I
So
don't like those teas.
don't worry. I got y'all, fam. I got y'all. I'll take care of it. That's a shirt.
I'm a stylish man. So, I remember back in the days when I first heard this, and then I paid attention to that, and then I went like, how on earth am I going not to pay attention to that insult? Because that person is insulting me. How dare this person insult me? And then I got to understand that if I don't pay attention to that insult, if I don't give the right energy to that insult, that'll mean nothing. Does it take work? Of course. Time? Of course. But that's one of the reasons that you are here, to learn, to understand that. And that is really and truly linked to peace protection, because your peace shouldn't be depending upon somebody else.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I'm going to actually piggyback off of that and say that in my experience, I find that the more you love a person, the harder it is for you to protect your peace with that person because you already have programs that have been rolling, we'll call it momentum, for years, and it's really difficult to get out of these particular habits or this programming, especially when you love somebody. The more you love, the harder it is to protect your peace because you had this program, this idea that you thought of this person, and that old idea may have zero to do with this person today. but it's in your mind and it plays automatically. So if you're not in the present moment, then it's easy to regress to that thought. And people have had their peace destroyed because of old programming and not being in the moment. So yeah, I think that's key because momentum, definitely the more momentum you have, it's harder to stop a rock that's a big old rock that's at the top of a mountain than it is to stop a rock that you push across a table. And that's something that kind of ties it in, especially with parents, because you automatically love them. You automatically want what's right for them. So it's easier for them if you allow it to disrupt your peace.
providing that you allow it,
Yes. It's a lot easier for them.
which is extremely difficult.
Yes. And you have to really be in the moment to not allow it to happen.
Yeah.
And that also brings me to a friend of mine. His name is Petty Pete. And,
I thought you were going to say the name for real.
yes, that's a good friend. He's a good friend. And you know why do I mention Petty Pete? Because I think Petty Pete is the kind of guy that we allow to and I can speak for myself.
I like Petty P.
Petty Pete. He's always around, poking his head like, okay, you know you should be in the moment. But Petty Pete is all about old programming. And he's very much, yeah, he's on his job if you're not on yours. If you're not in the moment, Petty Pete's like, hey, you gonna let this person get away with that? You gonna let them talk to you like that? You gonna let them get away with that? You gonna let them say just do what they want to do? And as parents, which kind of ties it back, we are I won't say we are, but I know my parents were like, no, you're not gonna do that. And so it was quite easy to destroy, or not destroy, but to disrupt their peace. Because they're like, you're not gonna get away with that. You don't pay no bills in this house. Who are you talking to like that? You don't pay no bills. We pay for everything around here. What are you talking about, Willis? And that's why I think, you got to be aware of Petty Pete, because if you're not in the moment, Petty Pete is always looking. He's always looking for an opportunity to do some good work, which negatively affects you. So
It is your own Jiminy Cricket.
yeah. And Petty Pete, he normally walks around with two pistols, and he's like, let's shoot up, son. So yeah, what do you think about that?
Something came to my mind right now, and it is another phrase I heard during this course, okay? And it is related to this. I mean, because we are talking about peace protection, which is really important. And as you said, you should be in the moment. But how on earth are we going to be present in the moment? How can we achieve this? So it takes time and effort. So you have to make a big effort to be present in the moment, and you're going to make mistakes. But it requires a lot of work. Okay? So it is not a phrase, but it's another metaphor. Okay? So imagine that you are present in the medieval era, okay, and you're going through a valley with a mountain on each side.
Okay.
And then no one told you anything, you didn't notice anything, but all of a sudden, two armies showed up. One on the right, on the top of the mountain, and the other one on the other top, okay, on your left. And then you were about to get into a balloon to fly away, okay, because you wanted to. So, and then you started to inflate the balloon, and the balloon grew bigger. Mm-hmm. And then the two armies were there, and they got started, okay. It was a surprise. But they arranged the time for them to clash.
Okay.
And to fight. So they started with the archers, and then the archers started to shoot arrows, and then you're in the middle.
Okay.
Those arrows aren't meant to hit you, but some of them are going to hit you. And the bigger your balloon is, the more arrows are going to hit the balloon. So the balloon stands for your ego. So the bigger your ego is, the easier it'll be for somebody to hit you. So we have to work on our egos. And then we have to turn them into something smaller. But it requires a lot of effort. I mean, it's not going, heroes is not going to happen overnight. It requires a lot of effort and a lot of work. Okay. But this is the path. And it is proven because I've done it. I'm still working on it. It's not going to end. I mean, it's an everyday process and you have to work on it every day. But as you are learning how to cope with that, as you are working, so the more you work on that, the easier it'll be for you to deal with that situation and to turn your ego into something smaller and smaller and smaller. And then by means of that, you'll achieve peace protection.
Mhm.
That's one of the ways.
Okay. Well, you said that, I also just had a little thought about something, and we'll call it, for lack of a different name, we call mundane concentration. What do I mean by that? That means by, if you take every little task that you do and you try to fully be immersed in that task, then you have to be in the present. And it's difficult for Petty Pete to show his head because Petty Pete is yesterday's momentum. And I think that's a good way to stay present. So every little task that you do, or whatever you try to do, you try to at least focus on just doing that thing. So you're at least in the moment and you are reacting to what's happening in the moment, and not, you're, no, actually not reacting. I want to say you are responding to what's happening in the moment and not reacting to what happened in the past. What do you think about that?
I think it is related to multitasking, what you
Okay.
said. And as you said, no matter how small this thing is for you, I mean, like, I don't know, doing the dishes, for example, if you're truly present in that moment, washing the dishes and, you know, it'll be difficult for you. I'm not going to say Jiminy Cricket because Jiminy Cricket for me, it is the opposite to Petty P because Jiminy Cricket is the voice of your consciousness, but telling you good things.
Okay.
Petty P,
They know each other. They know each other.
yeah, but they don't get along.
Fair play. Fair play.
So if you're present in that moment, washing the dishes, you have no problems. What kind of problems would you have during that moment? You don't have any problem, and this is very difficult to get. Okay, it's really difficult because we are used to thinking, overthinking. Now, I'm doing the dishes, but I'm thinking of going shopping. What happened yesterday with these workmates? My child told me that. Next month I have to travel, and it had happened this and that. None of that is real. What happened yesterday had already happened. It is not real. You cannot change it. And according to future things, future events, they aren't real either. They haven't happened yet. So the moment is the only thing you have. What I used to do is, for example, in the kitchen, while cooking, I used to put something on the phone, I mean, a podcast or a YouTube video, audiobooks, or whatever, okay? And then while I was cooking, I was trying to pay attention to that. So my focus was split.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't present in that moment. So from a while ago, I started to be present in the moment. So I started to head into the kitchen without the phone, just cooking. It is difficult because my brain goes back over and over, telling me, go grab the phone.
It's Petty Pete.
Yeah, that's petty bit. And then Jiminy Cricket goes like, if you grab your phone, you're going to have your focus split. So you are not going to be present in the moment. Okay, it's really, really difficult because there's a hormone called dopamine produced by your brain. And then you have peaks. And those peaks are produced by your phone, sugar, and so on and so forth. Okay, so those things are addictions you have to get rid of. That's the way I started to be present in the moment with small things, Another thing, driving. I don't turn on the radio. Nothing, just driving.
Oh, so that's why you can't drive. Fair play. Fair play. No, I mean,
Just a few minutes ago, I dropped this silly guy here to whatever. We're not going to tell the anecdote here. It is terrible.
don't worry about it. I was doing a lot of praying. But we got there. We got there. We got there, heroes. We got there. So it's all good. We did get there. It was a short distance, so everything worked out, and I'm happy to say that. But the reality is, I know what you're saying makes sense. I really do, and I know that the people are listening. Our viewers are like, yeah, it makes sense, but it's clearly difficult because sometimes you just want a little, you want to bop, you want to bop to the bop, you stop. But I understand that you're right. You're right. It's the way to be more in the moment.
Yeah.
And I guess you have to balance. You have to weigh it. Is listening to Justin Bieber's "Baby, Baby, Baby" worth you not being able to connect to your true potential? You have to weigh it. But I totally agree. That's a hell of a way to get in to get into the habit, to get into a good habit, so that at least Jimmy the Cricket, he can come out and get right. And it's true because people, I mean, nowadays it's a sad reality, but 15 years ago when you went to the bathroom, you went just to the bathroom. Nowadays, people don't just go to the bathroom; they're in the bathroom with their phones.
How many times have you read the shampoo tag? Because it's the same. And in how many languages? It is the same.
For sure, for
When
sure.
we have the smartphones in our hands,
Yes, it's just facts. It's facts.
but the newspaper, I've never had it in the bathroom with a newspaper bag. Of course, I grabbed the shampoo and I started to read the tag in Spanish, Portuguese, English.
Yes,
So it is the same.
it is the same.
So people, heroes, if you are shitting, just shit.
Go ahead and push it out. Push it out. Push it out. And push it out with concentration. That's all we're asking. Just push it out with concentration.
Don't keep anything for you.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So I think that's a really good way to start the process.
Small things.
Yeah, this the small things because of course, like I always say, you cannot eat an elephant at one time. You have to take little chunks. Now, people, I don't want Peter to come get me because it's just a metaphor. But then again, after hearing the monk's metaphor, I think I'm still all right. So leave me alone. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, very, very true. Any other good ways of saying, to protecting your peace?
Yes, you have to identify negativity.
Okay. Oh, that's deep. That's deep.
In our daily lives, we are immersed in normal stuff. Then we have to be conscious about that stuff. I mean, if I get in a conversation, then I should be able to identify the negativity involved in that conversation. I mean, so how many people do you know that always has a complaint? A person that always has a complaint and is complaining about everything. Wow, today's raining. I wish it was sunny. Oh, today's sunny is really hot. I really like to the weather. I mean, the cold weather and rain and so on. And it is the same person. And have you seen what the government did the other day with this law and so on and so forth? So identify negativity and keep yourself away from that. Work in your cave until you are able to cope with that.
And that kind of brings me to something. We're going to leave the cave just a little bit because we kind of need the villagers for this particular part of the story. Um, just because someone says something negative, it does not mean you have to validate the negativity.
Hands down.
If your life is good, then you say that. Whatever that person has to say is their business. There's a lot of times I encounter people, they go, "Hey, how you doing? I'm awesome. I'm having a wonderful day. Things are going very, very well for me. Oh, well, this happened to me. This happened to me. Okay, that happened to you, but I'm doing good. I'm all right." And the moment, well, not the moment, but I see people who have a good life and have something great happen to them, somebody comes in with a little bit of negativity, and then they just go with that person. And it's like, what are you doing, bro? That's not your life. It's not your story right now. So stop accepting the village's story when it's not your story. If you're good, things are paid for, you got things going on, the people you love and all your family members are happy. And what are you talking about? You're good. And when someone asks you that, how are you doing? Don't say anything opposite to that. How are you? I'm good. Life is great. Say it and stop feeling the pressure because you know they will come with some negativity. Because I have found that because I'm like that, people have a choice. Two choices. They can either be like, yeah, my life is good too. You're always positive. Or they can get into their negative business. But once again, that's always, well, they stop. Not that they want to get into their negative business. They just know I won't support that, so they stop talking to me. And it's a win-win. And that's what you want. That's how you should protect your peace. Because if you just say, no, life is good, this is happening, I'm good. Yeah, it's got to get better. Oh, this all happened to me. Well, I'm sure to get better. My life is good. So now they have a choice. They know that either when they see me, they got to come with some positive energy, or they just avoid me. And I think that's, for me, that's been a life changer because it keeps a lot of people from the shenanigans, and it keeps Petty Pete from riding it on a shenanigan horse because he just knows, he's like, oh, well, can't get that guy. He's really good. His life is good. His kids are good. His family's good. And even if it's not always good, why do they gotta know?
Yeah.
So that's how. Yeah. So I agree with you, and I think that don't let the village make you negative because for whatever reason, it's the human condition that some people, they get into the negativity. And stop watching the news. Stop watching the news. What the hell are you watching the news for?
How did you?
Sorry. I stole it. I stole
That-
it.
I had a good anecdote that involves the both of us.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember heroes. I remember a while ago, and you and I talking about whatever. Okay. And then I remember me asking you, but have you seen this in the news? Haven't you seen this and that, or aren't you conscious about this? And you saying me, no, I don't watch news. And then back in the day, I wasn't conscious about this. And then I thought, how on earth this fucker is not conscious about what's happening in this world? But the reality is, when I stopped watching news, everything improved. I mean, um, in my city, in my neighborhood, I open the door and I can see nothing bad. However, if I turn on the TV and I start watching the news, I'm sure there should be some shenanigans. I mean, uh, a woman raped in, I don't know, I invent this, in Thailand, some people killed in Brazil or whatever. That's happening in the world, okay, but I have zero control over it. Furthermore, it's not happening next to my door, so I cannot see it. So imagine a world without news. You'd be much happier. So I listened to you and I stopped watching news, and my life improved.
And I know there's going to be people that say, "Well, what are you doing? You don't know what's going on in the world, and you don't know what's happening, and all of that, and all of that." But
What's to say?
the great thing about that is that brings me back to the first thing: mind your own business.
Yeah,
It's simple. Mind your own business is very important to protecting your peace. Because at the end of the day, if something's going on in Thailand, I'm not, what can I do? If I'm not going to fly over there and make the biggest of difference, then I might as well protect the peace that I have here, enjoy the things that are here, be grateful for the stuff that I have here. And hey, if an opportunity arises for me to go over there and to do something and to make that happen, it'll come. And it's not going to take the news to make me afraid, to put me in a negative state, to mess up all the good blessings that I got coming my way. So that's why I say it's important to protect your peace by minding your own business. And I think that applies to every situation that you're going to encounter. Every situation you encounter, you see people just don't want to mind their business. They want to be in this person's business. They want to be in that person's business. They want to be this. They want, why? It's just not worth it at the end of the day.
yeah. Don't poke your nose in others'
For
business.
sure, for sure.
And then I have another phrase said by this gentleman there, and it was, "Would you rather be happy or be right?" That is really profound. If you want to be right, keep arguing. If you want to be happy, who cares about who's right? And it's really profound. It's really, really difficult to let go of that part of our egos.
For sure. Because the ego is the strongest part of the situation. And why do I say that? To give it to you in the quickest possible way. Because I said that. And if you want to be happy, that's an internal process. If you want to be right, you need validation from someone else. And so that's why that's very, very important, the distinction between the two. Being happy means it's something that I control. Being right means that I have to control the opinion of someone else. And if you're trying to control other people, you're in the village and you can't control what they do.
You should go back to your cave.
Get back to your cave, get yourself together so when you walk through the villages, you're able to mind your business in spite of what's happening.
Get a grip.
Get a grip. Yes, sir. Yeah, I think that's really, really good. Let me see what we got here. No, I'm good.
So, yeah, thank you. To sum it up a bit, stop watching news, be present in the moment, and do not go for multitasking.
Yes,
One task at a time.
yes,
So, these are three keys that led to me to a happier life. And heroes, I'm not saying that I don't make mistakes because I'm still working every day on this, every single day. However, I'm conscious and I realize when that is happening, so I can cut it out
Yeah.
at the very moment. And I swear to God, my life is much happier than the one I used to have a few years ago.
I would agree. I would agree. In my life also, it's the same. And the things that I'm saying is is not something that I just read and said I'm going to do that. No, it's things that I live by. And like he said, nobody gets a chance to cheat the process. And one thing you always have to keep in mind that if you are, 40 years old, and that's a lot of, and you're starting the process, that's a lot of momentum that's been gathered. So you have to meet that momentum with the same amount of momentum. And it's hard to do it first. It requires you to get momentum in order to counterbalance that momentum. So don't be hard on yourself. Nobody's perfect. But then, in the same regards, nobody cheats the process. The process is the process, and it is what it is. So, hey, when you start the process, understand that, hey, I'm going to make some mistakes. It's not always going to be exactly the way that I want it to be. And you learn, dust yourself off, and get back on your horse. You go back to your cave, get to the village, and eventually you'll be meditating on dead bodies.
I haven't proved that yet. I haven't proven that yet, so I haven't tried it. So, on the one hand, you have the benefits out of that. I mean, out of that training. But on the other hand, you're going to feel really uncomfortable.
Yes.
Why? Because you have to shed your own skin,
Yes.
and that's difficult.
And remember that the skin you have to shed is a person, or it's it's consider it to be like a person that really knows you, and they're willing to fight dirty. This person knows you. They know the trigger points, and so they're willing to fight dirty. So you have to really be on your game, because when you're battling yourself, when you're looking at that person in the mirror, they know whether or not you mean it when you say I want change. They know, because it's a mirror reflection. So when you're going into the process, understand that they know, and change is going to be it's going to put you through the ringer
Hmm.
to make sure that it is what you say that it is. And so, yeah, totally agree with you, bro. I totally agree with you. Yeah.
So I think we are reaching the end of this video.
Yes, I think we've covered the process. We've covered the issues, given some good ways to counteract
The keys.
the three keys, and yeah, hopefully you can take a little a spoonful at a time,
Yeah.
and and let the momentum get you to where you want to be, because the reality is you can be happy or you can be right.
Yeah. And here it is totally feasible because I've done it and I'm working on that. So if I'm able to do it, you will also be able to do it, hands down. Every one of us.
Oh, yes, sir. And in closing, all right, then I guess we'll catch you on the next episode. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for sharing this moment with me. And yeah,
Thank you.
I guess we'll see you next episode.
Yeah. See you next episode. Bye. Take care.
The rules of engagement. Yeah, Mundane production. You better be a part of it. We gon' talk about it. Check it.